And now we will look at subtracting fractions, which is very similar to adding fractions. So it's the same idea. The only difference is where you would have added, now you're going to subtract. You should realize that the denominators are the same. So the denominator for the answer remains 7. So when you were adding fractions, you would add the numerators. Now that you're subtracting fractions, it's going to be subtracting the numerators. 3 minus 1, which will give you 2. And that is how you subtract fractions with the same denominator. And so now we'll look at subtracting fractions with different denominators. We use the example 2/3 minus 1/5. And so you start off by finding the LCM, which will be your denominator. The LCM of 3 and 5 is 15. And the same idea applies. 15 divided by 3 will be 5. You take that answer and multiply it by the numerator of the first fraction. So 5 times 2, 10. However, you put a minus sign. And then you do the same for the second fraction. 15 divided by 5 is 3. You take that answer and multiply it by the numerator of the second fraction. 1 times 3, 3. And from there on, it's easy. 10 minus 3 will be 7 over 15. And that's your answer. That's how you subtract fractions with different denominators. Here's an example for you to try. As you'd remember, there are 2 ways I've shown you how to work these questions. The first way we will call method 1. You start off by subtracting your whole numbers. In this case, the only whole number is 2. And so 2 will be the whole number part of our answer. But we'll leave that for now. The second step will be to subtract the fractions. And so we have 3 over 4 minus 3/8. First step, find your LCM, which will be your new denominator, which is 8. 8 divided by 4, 2. 2 times the numerator of the first fraction. So you have 2 times 3, which is 6. Minus, doing the same for the second fraction, 8 divided by 8 is 1. And 1 times the numerator of the second fraction. And so we have 3. I pointed it out earlier, but I will do it again. When the denominator and the LCM are the same, the numerator will be the same. So 8 is the same as the LCM, and so the numerator will remain the same. From there on, you just subtract. 6 minus 3 will be 3 over 8. But that's not the final answer. Remember, we had our whole number. So our final answer will be 2 plus our fraction, which we say is 2 and 3/8. And that is method 1. And now I'll show you the second way to work the question. Method 2. You start off by changing the mixed fraction to an improper fraction. So 2 and 3 over 4 will become 4 times 2, which is 8, plus the numerator, 3, over the same denominator. 8 plus 3 is 11, and you put back your denominator. So 2 and 3 over 4 as an improper fraction will be 11 over 4. And so now that we've changed our mixed fraction to an improper fraction, we'll now rewrite the question. So now we have 11 over 4 minus 3 over 8. You start by finding your LCM, which will be 8. And the same idea applies. 8 divided by 4 is 2. You take that answer and multiply it by the numerator of the first fraction. 2 times 11, 22. Minus, remember I said, if the denominator and the LCM are the same, you just go right ahead and write back the same numerator. So now you know 22 minus 3 will give us 19 over our denominator, 8. And that's an improper fraction. Do you think you could change this to a mixed fraction? Great, see, you're getting the hang of it. 8 goes into 19 2 times with a remainder 3 over the same denominator, 8. And that's it. The question is finished. And now we will look at an example of a whole number minus a fraction. So the first thing we'll do is look at the first way we can do this question. You can change the whole number to a fraction by making the denominator 1. And as you can see, 1 goes into 3 times, so the value is still the same. So from here, you notice it just looks like the subtraction of fractions with different denominators. And you know how to do that. You first find your LCM, which would be 8. 8 divided by 1 is 8 times the numerator of the first fraction, and we get 24, minus, doing the same for the second fraction, but remember, now you have the denominator and the LCM being the same, so we can just go ahead and write the numerator back. So now you 24 minus 5, 19 over 8. And we worked this before, but we'll do it again. Can you change this improper fraction to a mixed fraction? 19 over 8 as a mixed fraction will be 2 and 3 over 8. And so that's the first way that you can work the question. And now we'll return to method 2. So what you'll do is you'll take 1 from the whole number. So 3 minus 1 will be 2. But the 1 that we took from the whole number, we're now going to represent it as 8 over 8. But why use 8? Well, the number you use will depend on the denominator of the other fraction. And so now we have 2 and 8 over 8 minus 5 over 8. So now let's subtract the fractions. So we have 8 over 8 minus 5 over 8. And we know for the answer, the denominator remain the same, and then you subtract the numerators. So it's 8 minus 5, which is 3. But that's not the final answer. Remember, we still have this 2 from the first part, which we explained. So the final answer will be, or 2 plus 3 over 8, which we know we write as 2 and 3 over 8. And those are the two ways that you may work the question. I'm sure you'll find other examples that you'll try on your own. All the best.